Start screaming.
Ah, ah.
Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I hope you guys are doing well.
Hi, you guys. It's so wonderful to see you all here again.
So, we're going to go into our update on the global pandemic situation. Or can we say it's a pandemic yet? You know, I mean, the WHO, I guess, still wouldn't say it's a pandemic, would they?
You know, they go back and forth. They're like a ping pong ball with everything.
Oh, I can think of better words. Good to see everybody. Hopi, good to see you, brother. Darlene, Tasha, Catherine, Angel Lady, One with Nature. That's a great name. Excalibur 33, Matt G. Tasha's in the house.
Hi, Thomas. Hi, Joseph. Douglas. Gemini 420. Love it. Peggy, Rick. Huggy Bear. So cute. Hi, you guys. Hi, Rebecca. Lots and lots of people filling up. This is great. Susan Donahue. Hi.
Rizar, Crazy Coyote. Mark Perez. Joseph Kelly. So many familiar faces. Yeah, this thing is really, it's not dying out.
No, you guys, the numbers are still going up, not down, but it still feels about as deceitful as I've felt anything in a long time.
Good to see Rosemary's in the house. She survived the storm from hell. As we know, Australia's been hammered. Everybody's been hammered pretty much.
Yeah.
In this corner of the desert, we've gotten absolutely nothing but just skies that are so full of something that we don't know what the heck it is up there, but they just spread more of that all the time. I mean, they got grid patterns and
It's that new cloud.
yeah, I mean, it's like they're making a big middle finger up in the middle of the sky at us.
They are, X-marks and checkered patterns. We saw a checkerboard and an X, and they're having fun.
Yeah, little smiley faces with little masks on them.
Little squiggly lines and stuff. They're having a blast up there.
Yeah, it's crazy what's up there. I mean, it's crazy. I've never seen so much being done.
So much artistic.
Is there any wonder why we are all, feeling it? And I'm talking to so many people everywhere. And I'm getting a lot of stories about people saying they've been hit with bad flu, all across the U.S., And as we're going to see, the picture is really muddled in so many ways. We have no way of really knowing what is the typical flu and what is this COVID-19.
Oh, I know, because it all falls under the name coronavirus, which Raven explained to us. It means the same thing as saying frog, coronavirus. It's all one. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. Okay, so yeah, the Diamond Princess is a region now.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. I didn't know that.
Hi, Julie. Hi, Larry, Leo, David Van Valle.
Are they having...
Oh, thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Joseph Cooper. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your support. It's like, do you guys remember yesterday's live and there was that stupid music going in the background and I couldn't figure out where it was from? Well, we got a copyright thing on it, and it's like, who knows where that even came up from? I couldn't even see it.
Right.
But this is the type of, way things go. Mm-hmm. Good to see you, Brother Orc. It's the way things go. That's how the music was brutal. And then, they hit us with a copyright infringement thing because of some music that was playing from somewhere that we couldn't see.
Yeah, it was like what, 20 seconds,
Well, they could do kind of whatever they want in their... Well, that's why they got the big, middle finger in the sky over us right now, with all the skywriting that's going on right now.
It is. It's nice skywriting. It's almost like they're getting their stencils out. They're starting to get really good at it. One, you could almost make out like a little tree and I know they're trying to make clouds like you can see the chemtrails kind of go in a circle.
Thank you so much, guys, for all your support, and thank you for showing up, night after night with us as well. And Nuclear is talking about being a devil's advocate. Well, there's a lot of advocates, spraying stuff up in the sky of his right now, hers. We could equal opportunity,
Yeah, equal opportunity for sure.
So yeah, there's, Tasha, that's a great point. What about, are there still, that's something I gotta look up, 300 cruise ships with over 500,000 passengers on the water? Wow. Larry wants a pony chemtrail.
I want a pony. I do.
Yeah. Can you send, well, I was gonna ask you to send a photo of that thing. I'll dig it up. I'll dig it up later. That was super cool. Well, let's get rid of some of this stuff. So this is a first from what I've seen. Looking at this map, now we're looking at the globe. I mean, obviously we see this gigantic red dot over Asia, over China specifically. But now, if you go into North America, look at the U.S. now, guys. This is starting to hit home. Mm-hmm. This is starting to hit home. Vancouver, Seattle, San Fran. That must be the Napa Valley one, I guess, that they're showing right there. LA and down there. And, Phoenix. There's rumors flying. Somebody told me that they were going to lock down Vegas, and, rumors are going to fly, so it is what it is. Most of them are going to be, well, in a normal world, most of them are just rumors and they're BS. A lot of rumors have turned out to be true. So we see San Antonio, it's got a little red dot. Florida's clear. Okay, we have London up there. We have Toronto. We have Madison, Wisconsin, Chicago. So we got some red dots. We got a Boston dot as well. And let's jump over across the pond. Oh, there's Spain and France and UK, Brussels, Germany we know about. These little red dots are infectious. There's one in Dubai. And there's a big one going over here. Well, it's still in mainland China. So, yeah, we're looking at 75,198 now. Broke 2,000 on the deaths. We know that that's not accurate at all. 542 others. It was shown at as Diamond Princess before, and now they switched it back to others. 81 Singapore, 74 Japan, 62 Hong Kong, 35 Thailand, 31 South Korea, 29 US. So US jumped from 15 to 29. Sources say that is vastly underestimated. Vastly, and we got a lot to go through today. Malaysia 22, Taiwan 22, Germany 16, Vietnam 16, Australia 15, France 12, Macau 10, UAE 9, UK 9. UK stayed there for a bit. Canada 8, Italy and Philippines 3. So that's where we're sitting right now with that. And, this is one of the ones. Now, this is Hal Turner. Again, you might want to take this as a rumor or maybe not. So there's a lot of this stuff going around. And the only reason I took a serious double take and got a little pit in my stomach was because of somebody I really trust was telling me that, things are not good in a particular area in Indiana. And that there's a cover-up going on. And so seeing this, now you got two people pointing in that direction. So this is again out of Hal Turner radio show. And it says there are so many dead bodies in the coroner's office that handles Indianapolis that they need more space and more staff to do autopsies. Coronavirus ? They won't say. Marion County, Indiana Deputy Chief Coroner Alfarina Ballou said they are forced to take victims' bodies to a storage space at Indiana University. Unfortunately, the lack of space is not the only issue the coroner's office is facing right now. What happens is we're at capacity with the number of cases that we get, but we only have a limited number of pathologists who can perform the autopsies. Balu explained, we typically have to carry cases over for the next day, and sometimes it takes us about 4 days to get completely caught up with performing autopsies and doing examinations. He said the goal is for families to receive information from the exams and autopsies along with their loved ones' bodies within 24 hours. To do that, they would need 5 forensic pathologists. They currently have 2. When we're at capacity and working the large number of cases that we have, I mean, you're talking about burnouts. You're talking about the inability to complete as many autopsies as we can in order to move the cases along for the descendants to be the deceased to be released to the families. When asked how many of them are from coronavirus, the coroner's office declined to answer. So, yeah, there's been a lot of talk about a lot of things being covered up right now. That is for sure. How about this? Okay, so this is Jennifer Zhang. We can call this weird, if not a bombshell. On September 18th, 2019, Tianhe Airport in Wuhan did an emergency response drill, presuming a passenger had coronavirus infection. Why on earth, out of over 10,000 different diseases, did they choose coronavirus? So, is that another foreshadowing of something to come, or did somebody already have knowledge again?
Sure does make you curious, then they keep using that one stamp coronavirus, which is concerning because I guess if they want to put you in quarantine and you have a basic cold, or the basic normal flu is still coronavirus. So what if they just stamp you coronavirus and throw you in the jug or something like that? No, things do seem to, like when I see them start coming over here, my ears are perked a little bit more. Right now, I'm waiting to see if things are actually going to, if shipments are actually going to break down, stuff from China over to here.
Well,
and
we can see it progressing.
Yeah, and if you look at the China, how it has that big dot on it, and there's a bunch of little dots everywhere. Well, China started out as just a few little dots too, and now look at it. So, yeah, I'm watching closer now.
Yeah, Josh says it's just the flu, mask pill psyop. Maybe it's just a different strain of the flu. Who knows? But I mean, look at what's going on. So this is not the typical response. Whether this is really, something all new, and a deadly bioweapon released in accident or on purpose, or whether it's just, there's some other operation or a project underway and the flu is a cover. Either way we look at it, any way we look at it, this is not the normal global response to the flu. Something is abnormal here. To, quote a phrase from Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, right.
It's abnormal.
You're my abnormal guy. I like you.
Thank you. I kind of like being abnormal. So, this is curious. Is it just another foreshadowing, or, we had event 201, and that was October, a month after this little drill here, right? Oh, and we have the Dean Koontz book, with the Wuhan thing, and there was one other one, I forget what it is now. All this stuff, very, very predictive. And you see, Russia is banning Chinese citizens from entry, period. Boom. And that's a big border. I think it's the second largest border in the world other than the U.S. and Canada. So, that's huge, man. That's huge. And their allies are apparent allies. And I do say that because I have some people in the know that keep telling me that Russia is really aligned with us and not with China, and that's just a big ruse. But then, of course, we know there's puppet masters that control everything. 26 people quarantined in Westchester after returning from China over outbreak areas. So Westchester, New York, that's about 25 miles away from my hometown area. Returning from China, those guys are under quarantine now. And that's what's happening now. There's a lot of people coming in that are being, put in quarantine here. But, oh gosh, it's like there's so many different ways to go with all this. There's so many ways to go with all this because people, again, the RO factor. This RO factor is through the roof. So the RO factor indicates it's not only something that's manufactured in a bioweapon. It's kind of like, it's like Thor with his hammer.
Right. It is. It's pretty serious. And when we see quarantine stuff, like, I don't think quarantine's good at all. But like a couple years ago, the granddaughters got shots and they thought that they actually got measles from the vaccines. I don't do vaccines, but they did that one time. And they almost quarantined our house here for that. They did, here in Beatty. Oops.
Yeah, so, it's just crazy. And Wages World in the house. And, he's a good friend now. We've gotten to know each other a lot better. And we got Nuclear Quantum Pew 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 in the house as well. Sweetgrass, good to see you guys. Gosh, there's so much going on right now. So much going on. It'll make your head spin. But anyway we look at it, I think we should be prepping like we've never prepped before. Now, okay, take this for what you will. Second wave of dangerous flu hitting New York. Pediatric deaths on the rise. Okay, so New York has had 106,824 flu cases, three pediatric deaths. About 5 days ago, I saw where there was only like 455 people tested for the coronavirus at that time. So, the obvious question is, how many of those are the coronavirus, if it does exist, as they are telling us it exists? How many? That's a lot of people. And so they are saying that this is shaping up to be the worst flu season ever in New York now. So...
Miss Dawn Nelson, thank you so much. You're amazing. You're amazing. Thank you. We appreciate that a ton. Thank you.
Yeah, tomorrow morning I'm going to do a video, and I wanted to just share some stuff with you guys. Good stuff, and so I'm going to take the time to do that. There was just so much piling through right now with this, and thank you so much, Dawn. Thank you for your support, and God bless and namaste, sister. We appreciate you. So now you see this second wave hit New York, right? Record-breaking year for the flu in New York. And we see over here, second wave of flu is hitting the entire country, right? Okay. So, and, they get into it a little bit here. How do we know that the second wave is not the first wave of the coronavirus?
We don't, because they've kept this like under wraps, and they've kept it moving slower than molasses in the wintertime as far as information's concerned.
I think to me, it's kind of like, it's almost like this is what they would want you to think. It's kind of like obvious, for us people that are, people that don't always accept the mainstream answer for things. You see here, again, this is out Hal Turner 2. New York issues a gag order to police and EMS. No talk to anyone about the coronavirus cases. And so there are now allegedly confirmed coronavirus cases in Watertown, Buffalo, and Rochester, New York. That's, it's just spreading, guys. Spreading. And supposedly there's a gag order. Don't talk about it. Shh.
Yeah, why would they do that if it's so dangerous? Why would they gag it?
Well, because they don't want to create a panic. That's the basic thing. Can you imagine what it's going to look like if people start, people that have seen what's going on in China start thinking that, it's heading our way pretty quick, or it's here now, then it's like it's on. There won't be anything sitting in the stores. Oh, wow. What the heck is going on there?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's some
Craziness.
As we speak about that, this tiny little place never has any action going. We saw some typical vehicles that look like they're owned by contractors that work on military bases along with construction in the middle of town. And then now we see a whole bunch of lights and emergency vehicles. And I mean, there's like not much here at all.
Thank you, Don Nelson. Fan. Thank you so much for your support again. See.
Oh, thank you, Don.
You.
We appreciate it. So supposedly there's this gag order going on. There's cases going on. And there's multiple confirmed cases supposedly at DeGraff Memorial Hospital in Tonawanda. And no one's talking about it or not allowed to talk about it. So, do you guys think that's actually legit? And I'm curious as to what the cops and everybody is doing out there now too. Then we have this, which some people saying, oh, this has already been debunked. And I'm not 100% sure. I was wondering, this isn't what Paul Cottrell came up with, I don't think, but somebody else did. Supposedly this is a text. And basically it says, there have already been over 1,000 cases in the U.S., although on the news they're just keeping things quiet for now and reporting far less. They're trying to prevent panic because that will only make things worse. So please keep it between us guys. Just Cindy, me, and 515 of you watching. And by the time the show is done, 2,000 or so more.
Right, exactly. I mean... I don't know. Now I'm watching this and it's unfolding closer and closer to home. I've always been on the, I've always been of the, my way is like being careful, like not going to the store all the time, always being cautious. But at the same time, I've had a hard time believing the mainstream narrative since it started. And I still have a problem believing mainstream. I don't think that they're telling us everything. It just doesn't feel like they're telling us the complete truth. But I'm really glad that I was cautious and careful, because it does look like this coronavirus, the nasty one, could be coming through the States. And if it's as bad as it was in China, then it's probably already spread all over the place, really. So I would just continue to raise the immune system, continue to take precautions, keep your Lysol, your handy wipes, everything ready. Michael went out to look at the lights outside, so you guys are stuck with me. I get a little nervous when I'm stuck here alone, because he's my partner in crime. So anyways, wraiths everywhere. Hot lemon water keeps your system to the alkaline side. Thank you. I love that when you guys throw in information in here like herbal remedies. Aw, thank you. Oh my goodness. And you hear a little Sassy. She's not too sure about any of this either. She's just super curious. So anyway, the couple they took off the boat that were reporting to have went dark. Government took all their communication devices. Really, Finding Joe. Do you have a link on that one? I'd be curious to look that up. And oh my gosh, thank goodness he's back, this star. So I think everything is okay, right?
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, we never have anything happen here. And I just looked down the street and there's like, I think a cop car, an ambulance, a fire truck, and maybe another cop car or another ambulance. And there's nothing that ever happens here. And it's quiet. So,
They're leaving.
It's really weird. But these are weird times, and thank you guys for allowing me to take a peek out there.
Thanks
and
for
see.
Putting up with me. Thank you.
So, Yeah, is this real? I don't know. Supposedly, this is Nancy Messenger, MD, and director for the National Center for Immunizations and Respiratory Diseases. We shall see. So Nebraska's specialized medicine care has handled Ebola. Now it's taken on the novel coronavirus as well. And they brought some people there that are suffering. And so you guys in Omaha, I think, is Rue in the house? He probably is. Rue and Andrew are up in Omaha. Well, we got people being brought there with the disease. And we see here a patient from cruise ship is first case of coronavirus in Napa County. So we have a case there as well. And Japan is about to explode, as well as Singapore, Vietnam, and you see Japan is on the cusp of a large outbreak, so people work from home. I guess that's, one of the good things we could take from this is you get to stay home and work.
Right.
That's always nice. So you got half of China's population pretty much now facing travel restrictions and or quarantine. I mean, that's massive, 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 massive. And, as we talked about, Japan is in a recession now. And, they always are packed like sardines. The average Japanese home is kind of like what we would equate to a tiny home. If you look at the apartments and stuff they live in, the way they live, they're really packed in tight. So obviously things could spread quick.
Yeah, and all over the place and thick too. So how do you avoid that?
So, with the 66 confirmed cases, and then if you add in the 542 that are from the Diamond Princess, Japan has the largest number of cases outside of China. And Japan issues coronavirus guidelines to worried citizens as the cases are spiking, and obviously, just look at what's going on in China, and it's horrible. I know a lot of you guys probably saw the video that was taken off of YouTube. We brought up questions to all these buildings that are burning down and houses that are burning, and there was a video that showed what appeared to be just a small home burning, and then people running out that were totally on fire. And, was it CGI? It didn't look like it to me,
I wanted to believe it was. It looked pretty real.
It did look real, and you got to wonder what's up. It's just horrible. South Korea confirms 15 new cases of coronavirus. And you see here, coronavirus, New Zealand Post halts mail to and from China. So this is going to a different level with that. So it's not just people, but stopping all the products from moving. That's going to be huge to the entire global economy. And some people had originally said that they thought, well, maybe this is all about inducing that global crash. Well, I think that's starting to look inevitable now, the crash.
It is, that I'm kind of watching that slowly unfold too.
But don't worry, the WHO is working day and night.
Thank God.
Am I the only person that thinks that they moved amazingly slow? So slow that now it's, it's kind of too late now. The cat's out of the bag. And we're going to see what we saw in China and other countries. Hopefully it'll be handled nicer. Here you see coronavirus. Russian court orders woman who fled quarantine back to the hospital. She actually blogged, bad move, about escaping quarantine despite being tested negative.
Wait, she was tested negative? Then...
Excuse me, yeah.
If she tested negative, then why did they put her back?
That's a good question, too.
Yeah.
You got to wonder. And then, of course, we've talked about the possibility that, maybe this is a cover for, as nuclear quantum lasers was saying, Operation 66 for you Star Wars fans. And you can't blame this. I am so angry my mind has gone blank. China outrage explodes after Beijing propaganda backfires. So you see a video depicting nurses in Gansu province having their hair shaved off has accomplished just that, while raising serious questions about Beijing's ability to contain the public frustration over its handling of the coronavirus outbreak that spawned this. So, we were talking to David Devine yesterday. They just handle things differently over there, and people accept things that we won't accept over here as well.
They do. I'm sorry to interrupt. Human Brutal Spock, $10. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for your support. You guys are keeping us going.
Yes, you are.
So there's a video here as well, and you guys could check it out. And just the brutality that we've seen, it's just insane. Absolutely insane. Now, this is interesting. China dumped most U.S. treasuries in 18 months in December. One of the things that I had read before it was that, you would never really have a war until China was, between China and U.S., until they were totally divested, and there's been, obviously the U.S. Is in great financial debt with the trade imbalance that's been there forever with China. You got to wonder if there's something else underlying going on here as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's like a lot of different layers of stuff in it, and it's going to be one of those things, a hindsight's 2020. That's what I'm seeing here, but it's all really interesting to be able to do these lives with you guys and kind of unfold it as it happens.
Yeah, the social credit score thing. Now, obviously, how well have they kept track of everybody that's passed on? Over there, you're just never gonna know. Family members are gonna just know, so and so. Well, they died of the flu that year. We never got the body back. We just saw them when they came and threw them in a van, took them away. And it's just crazy to think about it. Overall, it's really, really crazy to think about, everything that we've seen there.
Yeah. No, this is information that needs to be brought out because there could be a serious problem here. I don't think it's a simple problem. It's a serious problem that can cause big issues. So I do think it needs to be talked about, and there's nothing wrong with talking about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty wild. There's definitely a silent war going on. So Louise says, even in space, satellites getting knocked out of the skies. Oh no, a meteor, cough, cough. Yeah, well, that's part of like what, I think. I've said this before. I believe totally we are in the middle of a interdimensional galactic war that we don't even realize. But most people don't realize, but if you go and look into the different texts from all around the world, you can see that it's there. It's right there. The evidence right there. If you look at the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and so many other traditions, Native American traditions, we've talked about it before. This is a huge battle. Look at the Gnostic texts as well. It's clearly a huge battle. And then you could go biblical as well. So, it's obvious there's a huge spiritual war going on. And we call it spiritual. And really, what is spiritual? Is it not something that's just of a different vibrational frequency? So, again, this is a dimensional war, a density war. It's a vibrational war. And, that's something that a lot of people don't really recognize, but it's big. It's very, very big. Thomas says it's over at the end of the year. I hope so. You know, a lot of people are seeing unusual things. Let me throw that out to you guys. Are you guys having any weird occurrences? You know? Yeah, that's true, Greg. You know, and they are trying to lower our vibration, and it's so obvious as well. Because it does work when we start getting exposed to too much of this stuff. We'll start to feel sick ourselves unless we really go ahead and take care of ourselves, get exercise, do beneficial things.
Thank you, Miss Susan Donahue. Appreciate it so much. Many thanks to you too.
Thank you so much, Susan. You've been such a strong supporter. We appreciate your support and your love and your sharing.
Yes, we do.
One thing, okay, I'll touch on it right now. So, I did a prayer request recently for a young lady that was in a coma, and I'll dig up her photo again tomorrow. And I just want to thank you guys because, the power of intent is amazing. So she was in a induced coma because she was seizuring. And you know what? She's came out of it. She came out of it and she's doing well. And it's looking good, guys. So the power of prayer and intention is just, it's amazing when we focus ourselves. So that's a beautiful thing. And this is something we could do all the time. And we should because our powers are increasing. Our ability to manifest on this plane is increasing. So we do have to gear it that way. We could manifest good or bad, and they're trying to get us to manifest the bad. They're manipulating us left and right. Also because this is part of this war on us right now, timing-wise, is simply because they recognize that. Our ability to manifest in this realm is increasing, so they're attacking us much harder now. And so thank you guys so much for all of your prayers and support for everybody that we've ever put out there and prayed for. And Wages World, his daughter's sick right now. Hopefully it's just a cold or maybe even the regular flu. So let's send our prayers and love. He's a beautiful guy, and I haven't known him that long, but he's a good man. And I know he's a great family man as well. So may healing, love, positivity, light be heading her way, and she'll be up and running and playing like normal, perhaps even tomorrow, and all better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it goes to show how important our frequency is and our vibration is, which brings me to 5G, which I'm really wondering how much of that may have weakened these people's immune system being exposed to the EMF. And that's something Michael and I have been doing nightly, is unplugging a couple hours early, getting away from the EMF to try to recoup like your regular biofield,
And we had a client who is also a little brother that is becoming a healer. We're working with him, and he was just sharing he hadn't been sick in like 10 years, not even a cold, and so he got sick recently. Everybody's getting it, but there again, look up in the skies. We're completely bombarded every single day. So. We have to realize that and take care of ourselves as well as possible. And again, we talked about different things like echinacea, boswellia. Rosemary will tell you boswellia is great for the lungs. So, boswellia, definitely get some boswellia, guys. It is so good for your lungs. And Rosemary's in the chat right now, and I made a delicious chili tonight. It came out really yummy, and I use like a whole head of garlic pretty much when I do it. So garlic's great as well. There's so many things we could do. We got to keep our immune systems boosted up. And so over here you see coronavirus update. 346 Americans emerged from a quarantine at California military bases. A lot of these people, again, remember, people can't come down with it again, and maybe it never actually leaves their system. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just, we knock it dormant and then it raises its head again. And that is a nightmare scenario, because then you get these people, okay, yeah, you're good. It's been 14 days. You no fever. Go home. And then the RO factor of 6 to 8. That one person makes 6 to 8 more people sick. Oh boy. Boy, are we going to have a second wave, and then maybe a third wave. And, this has BS written all over it. Quick retraction of a faulty coronavirus paper was a good moment for science. A bad moment for the truth. Yeah, a good moment for science often is a bad moment for the truth.
It is indeed, and science is forever changing day by day.
Well, this is about and we talked about this, the 2019 NCOV spike protein to the HIV-1, GP120 and GAG. So this was just basically where they're saying, this got to be manufactured because it's got like pieces of the AIDS virus in it.
Yeah, how does that happen? Whoops, the virus slipped and fell on its own and just got a piece of the AIDS virus in it. Now, there's some pretty high technology that had to piece that thing together. My guess, though, is it is going to weaken as it gets here, but I'm not a doctor. I have no idea. It's just a gut feeling.
Let us hope so.
Yeah.
So, that retraction, to me, it smells like complete BS. That's covering up the fact. Meanwhile, we have a lot of people in rumor land, saying that, what this does is it gets into you, and it's like HIV on steroids. And which what does it do? It attacks your immune system. So is that how people are getting over, but then the second and third rounds are worse? Because now they're fighting something else. They're fighting more than one thing, and fighting whatever else is being dumped on us above as well.
Yeah, it's like a death by 1,000 cuts with everything that's going on. They hit us a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. I think it's really important right now to detox daily.
Yep. And I do think this is all, I think this is planned and programmed. I think it's just, it seems to be kind of obvious. And look at this too, this statement, right? This is from the CDC. This was just 6 hours ago. Dr. Robert R. Redfield. CDC Gov does not recommend the use of face masks or personal protective equipment among the well people in the general public. Yeah, it's not spreading in the community at this time. His nose got to be growing.
Yeah, and it's got to be a certain dark color brown, I'm sure.
So this is off of Dr. Eric Feigl-Ding. He does say, I hope they will update this quickly. And meanwhile, I think it feels right that they're probably keeping a lid on the number of cases that are really here. I do think that does feel right. I think there's probably way more than what we know. And still we see food being dumped. And, why, I don't know why they just dump it anywhere. And now there are people that are starting to starve in China. This thing's been going on for a while.
Well, someone did mention that what if this is GMO food and people don't want to eat it, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, after you haven't eaten in like 3 weeks, you're going to say, screw the GMO corn. I'm just going to take my chances, Is this all infected, quote unquote? Well, if it has, if it's like a lime, a lemon, an orange, a grapefruit, could you not disinfect the exterior? It probably didn't get into the interior if you're starving to death. I think most people would probably risk that.
Yeah.
And then we still have all sorts of craziness going on over here. So this is a checkpoint, guys. Watch this one here. This is a checkpoint in China. Yeah, drive over there. Yeah, over there.
I don't get it.
I don't either. I mean, it's craziness. Either way, I don't know if this person, I don't know, but, that doesn't look like it had a good outcome. And there's obviously craziness going on, and let's hope it doesn't end up like this all over the world.
Right. I mean, people are getting a little bit nutty, getting frustrated. I can understand that.
And then we have, again, more of this insane brutality. They threw this like 80-year-old man on the ground, and now they're sticking a gun in his mouth. This is the CCP officials here. An 80-year-old-ish man. Really? Why? There's no sense for any of this. And so this is back to Dr. Eric. Here is the 2% CFR source paper from China CDC researchers, calculated from 1,023 deaths out of 44,672 cases at the time. 81% of the cases are mild, though likely many mild were undiagnosed as well. So it still shows that the disease is roughly 20 times deadlier. As we get over here. And you can see the coronavirus spread is still slowing in China, is what they're saying, but speeding up elsewhere. So, the bottom line is we really don't know. And we have all these craziness things going on over there in China. Here you have a police officer is trying to do something. There's a couple of them throwing people around again and taking their gun out and shooting into the air and who knows what. And like David was saying yesterday, and you wonder when you see 20 people standing around, there's two of them. And if rumors start flying enough where people realize that a lot of people are not ever seen again, when will they just overwhelm them?
Right. At what point will these people be able to stand up? But you got to think their conditioning is different from ours. They've really been seriously repressed.
They have. And it's very, very disconcerting to see all this stuff coming out of there.
It is. And, it's just so sad that they've been basically born under somebody's thumb and they don't really know how to stand up. And it seems like when the protests were going on, boom, this coronavirus hits. So this is weird.
Yeah, we saw a couple little weird things here today in this tiny little area. And have you guys seen anything unusual out there? Tell me what you guys are seeing. Is anybody else seeing anything unusual? Has there been more ambulances coming around or things like that? What have you guys been seeing out there? Anything? Or does it seem like still everything is absolutely normal here right now, wherever you guys are? I'd be curious to see. I wonder how this is all going to progress. Good evening, Randy. Matt says all okay. A lot of snow. Boston's there. Peaches rocks. Ray says more mindless people, honestly, more zombified. Mm-hmm. And I know Ray's, he's also seen more unusual things, perhaps interdimensional beings, or what we might want to call, some people call ghosts, though perhaps it's not really ghosts.
Space River says,
well, nothing.
Space River. People wearing gloves while they shop, says Space River News. Where are you at?
So yeah, you guys seeing people out there with masks and gloves in your areas? Yeah, Leo, it's been windy in so many different areas.
Yeah, for a while there, the wind was really kind of crazy across the globe.
Rosanna says that when she went out to get some water, just noticed not many people out there. I think people are starting to, maybe wait till they really need to go shopping instead of running out for one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be it, because we did have that one day where like everybody in town was out. It was weird.
So we have some people saying masks. Jacksonville, North Carolina, wearing a mask. 2 masks up in Massachusetts, Jonathan says. Yeah, Mike Brown says it's the Anunnaki. Yeah. Could be. I did talk to Matthew LaCroix. He's going to book a date and we'll do a live probably in early March. He is fascinating if you've ever listened to any of his shows. I'm excited about that.
Matthew LaCroix, love his work. If you're listening, I doubt you are, but if you're listening, Matthew, we can't wait to talk to you.
Yeah, some good stuff, man. Good stuff. Wages says do the curbside pickup if you go to Walmart. And just be aware again. Now, Walmart, so much stuff is from China as well, so handle with care. Oh my God, Bigfoot had his mask on? You're kidding me. Wow, I hope you got a photo of that one.
That's deep.
No masks in Denver.
I'm going to make a prediction.
I wouldn't be surprised if President Xi was of Nephilim bloodline. I wouldn't doubt that at all.
I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to say this time next week, we're going to ask the same question, and people out there will be wearing masks and gloves.
I wouldn't doubt that. I really do. I think it's going to progress pretty quick. 70% of manufacturing sites in China are shut down. They've been supposedly trying to send people back to work. Okay, so that brings me over to this article. This is from Barron's, and it says China's coronavirus figures just don't add up. This never happens with real data, because when they look at the numbers, it's going in a perfect trajectory so much. They played with it a little bit more now. And you see here, in terms of the virus data, the number of cumulative deaths reported is described by a simple mathematical formula to very high accuracy, according to a quantitative finance specialist who ran a regression of the data for Barron's. A near perfect 99.99% of variance is explained by the equation, this person said. Put in an investing context, that variance, or so-called R-squared value, would mean that an investor could predict tomorrow's stock price with almost perfect accuracy. In this case, the high R-squared means there is essentially zero unexpected variability in reported cases day after day. In other words, yeah, they're full of it. They are full of it. So, and the bottom line is, like the numbers coming out would make me think somebody is simulating data. It's not the actual numbers. It's simulated. And the use of those terms gets me even more curious in some ways. We talked about the art of war and Sun Tzu, and feign weakness when you're strong and strength when you're weak. And then we talked about that Chinese defense minister in 2005 saying, we're not building aircraft carriers. What we do is we invest in bioweapons, because what we would do if we were to take on the U.S., and at some point we're going to need to do that, is what he said. Before they hit 1.3 billion, they are at 1.6. And so what he said was they would unleash a bioweapon. So, all right, let me just throw this out there, and this is completely speculative, and it was just hitting me today. I've been thinking along this periphery for a while. But what if China wanted to make like this was not an attack, so they release it on themselves in a controlled manner, even though it doesn't seem it's controlled, And really the people, and this is just really way out there speculative, guys. So the people that are really the ones that are getting, unfortunately are deceased are the ones that are, again, political dissenters, things like that. 81% of the cases are mild. Maybe that's really the way it really is. And really the ones that are dying are the ones that are people that have been in protest, dissenters, et cetera, et cetera. We've seen buildings burning down. We see people hauled off. We see an 80-year-old man thrown to the ground and a gun put in his mouth. So what if that's the case? And the real bioweapon is going to hit like over here. And I hope not, but I'm just saying. It makes it look like, they were the first to suffer. But what if their real numbers, even maybe even if their real numbers were 1 million people lost, 1 million, it's 1.6 billion people over there. And so what if there was to be, a release of something here that could be mimic the flu and then run stronger? They would have perfect plausible deniability, even if they were like, oops, well, maybe we did drop it out, but see, it hit us first and it hit us hard. But really what they did was take out all their opponents there in the country and consolidate their grip on power, meanwhile first striking the adversary. Just throwing that out there. It's just like a crazy conspiracy theorist would.
Yeah. You sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist. Oh my goodness. I don't know, but after all, the protests have stopped. Then there's that, and we also have this stuff we see with Bill Gates, talk about predictive programming, like all over the place. That I do see predictive programming, but, there could be something to this theory. I mean, since where are the protesters? Where did they go?
And did you see what MM said? So what if that was the real
bioweapon in the form of that?
Yeah, in the form of the
is
baby.
What wonder? Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. So. Yeah, as Douglas D says, I think the next 2 weeks are going to be very interesting. I agree. I agree. We'll see how it goes. Because I mean, if it really is just a flu, and this is going to turn into the worst flu year on record, and going back to obviously the big pandemic back in 1918. But it's not the COVID-19 virus, just a regular bad flu season. Or maybe a lot of these are really something else. We just don't know.
No, so you got to stay on guard. You got to also go within, but you don't want to operate out of fear either. You just kind of want to have your wits about you. You want to be healthy. You want to go within. You want to do all the right things. My grandma always said, if you're not sure what to do, go do your dishes. That's what I did today.
So, 11 of the new cases in South Korea have been linked to the 31st case. That woman apparently affected 10 people at church and another at a hospital where she went. So it just shows you how much this could spread. And so, I wanted to finish this one on this. 10 plagues that are hitting our planet simultaneously when you think about it, right? Army of locusts. Now they're hitting China. And, they're eating up crops like crazy. So you're going to have mass starvation in Africa. Billions of the insects have destroyed food supplies across Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia. Worst plague in decades. Extremely bizarre weather patterns. Yeah. 209-mile-an-hour wind gusts that hit California. We have 3 bombogenesis in a row in the North Atlantic. We had 100-foot waves there off the coast of Ireland. 100-foot waves. Crazy stuff. We're seeing flooding everywhere. At first I couldn't do the first video today. It's like, the stuff adds up on you, and Cindy was like, take a deep breath, because it's like, it's like you almost like enough of the devastation, but people are, they're really suffering, en masse. So, I mean, the weather, it's obvious. And look at Australia. too. Everywhere we look, everywhere, every single continent, unprecedented flooding. All over the place. The southern U.S., the southeast. Through Texas got hit hard too. Nebraska, Iowa. We'll see what happens this spring. The Mississippi's flooding right now. Jackson, Mississippi right now. It's just getting started too. It'll get worse as we get deeper into the spring. And then we have earthquakes. We've had some big ones. I think it was almost 2 years ago. It was maybe about 18, 20 months ago. We had that Indonesian one with the tsunami. Unusual volcanic eruptions going on at the same time. Most definitely. Then, of course, the coronavirus. Add that in. African swine fever, pig Ebola. It wiped out a huge chunk of the amount of pigs on the planet. Huge. Then you have the H1N1 swine flu. And then we have the H5N1 bird flu. And then we have the H5N8 bird flu. They're all different strains. We could add that thing they just discovered down in Brazil, that new one over there, that new virus. There was that other new virus down in, where was that in Africa? I'm trying to think where it was. It was on the West Coast. We got stuff popping up all over the place. Is this all just a coincidence?
It definitely feels like an uptick of event. I don't know if it's in any one particular place, but it's an uptick in chaos everywhere.
Yep. Yeah. It's like Wages said, permafrost melting, lots of viruses being exposed. Yeah. That's definitely something that is happening. If we obviously there's a lot of people who take it, it's just God's will. He's punishing us, taking a biblical look at it that way. Although it's fascinating when you look at the Bible in depth and you really tear it apart. And I don't know if Raven's in there right now. Raven's got two doctorates or three. Two doctorates and a master's, all in different aspects of religious studies. And we see very, very eye to eye on all this. Is it all a coincidence? Is it all part of just this time period, grand solar minimum, and everything that's going on? Or is it being manipulated and orchestrated? To my cynical mind, that's the most likely.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because if they wrote the rules, they wrote the future, they could put everything out and then just sort of let us be the guides and be the manifestors.
Exactly. And then, I would love to see Jesus return, most definitely, and other benevolent ones as well. It'd be a beautiful thing, and many are hoping and waiting for that. And so, you have the Christians waiting for Jesus to return. The Muslims are waiting for the Imam Mahdi. The Buddhists, they're waiting for the Maitreya to come. And then, in Hinduism, the next incarnation of Vishnu, the Kalki avatar. And if you look at how, Kalki avatar is depicted, it's, he rides on a white horse. It's so where you could see the biblical is a reflection of this, this particular prophecy as well. So it's interesting, very, very interesting stuff to see. Alan G says all aliens, extraterrestrial, interdimensional beings, non-Homo sapiens, but perhaps, humanoid, maybe a little bit of reptilian mixed in and some grays. There's a lot of activity going on right now. There's a lot of activity. We're having strange stuff happening every day, multiple times every day. We were sitting here and putting together a video the other night, and something on a desk right next to us just decided to fall off the desk right in front of us. Mm-hmm. Nothing touched it. Nothing moved. It wasn't an earthquake. It wasn't a breeze. And then when I got up and walked out to the kitchen, the slider door was wide open. wide open, and none of us left it open. And every time I walk by it, I look and double check and lock it. So very weird stuff going on. Very, very weird.
Yeah, I think they like to watch us. We're special.
Well, you know what? I'm hearing from a lot of our other special friends out there too, that a lot of other people are experiencing these weird things too. There's a lot of beings around us at any one time. You know, again, we only see such a limited spectrum as far as visible light. You know, all that we see is just a tiny, tiny portion of all that there is. And so if our perceptions are expanding, and perhaps we're expanding on up into other dimensions where now they could also see us a lot clearer too. It's interesting, most definitely. Matt G says lock and load, yeah. Although I got a feeling like the 12 gauge would go right through them.
But it's been a really wonderful night, you guys. I'm super happy to see all of you in the chat. Thank you so much to our supporters. All of you, please hit the thumbs up button. That's a ton.
So White Porcelain says he's talking about seeing the tiny particles. Those are something I've seen for like over 30 years, 35 years now probably. Since I think around when I was about 20. So yeah, and they're alive, they're alive. They're, living things.
The little life force, to me, they look like little atoms. They have a pattern.
Yeah, but you'll notice that, some are swimming this way, others will swim that way. It's like it's like we're in the ocean and they're actually swimming in water.
Some are like that. For me, though, I see like these atoms. It's like a geometric shape. Yeah, that's what I see.
A lot of you guys see these things too. So thank you guys so much for joining us once again. Stay safe, stay prepared, take your precautions. Let us know whatever you guys see. If you start to see anything unusual, let us know what you're experiencing as well. And as always, my friends, God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.